The following podcast contains movie spoilers and mature content, including graphic descriptions of violence. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to Opening Kill, the podcast that dives deep into the chilling world of horror films. Every Thursday, we explore a different movie, from cult classics to modern masterpieces, uncovering behind-the-scenes secrets, analyzing themes, and sharing fun facts about your favorite horror films. Join us as we chat with filmmakers and fellow horror film fans to celebrate the fear in cinema. And now, the hosts of Opening Kill, Michael Doran and Brian O'Connor.
Hello, Michael Duran.
Well, hello there, Brian O'Connor.
How you doing?
I'm good. You know,
Good.
a little sleepy, but I'm okay.
You're always a little sleepy.
I am. I'm like a house cat. If I don't get my 19 hours, I'm a mess.
I think you're a mess anyway.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to episode 20 From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
Which is one of my favorite vampire movies. It is also one of Shay Astor's favorite movies. Researcher Shay, who is here. Hello.
Hello.
I think this was your idea, wasn't it?
God, I hope so.
I would think so. Researcher Danielle is here. Hello.
Hello.
And, of course, you got me and Michael here, too. So, and here we are. Going to talk vampires.
Here we are.
Oh, wait, you guys are talking in this one?
Oh, yeah, we are just going to turn this over to you. We're not that dumb.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that could have been a disaster.
Shay's thinking she's going to take over the entire show this week. Not quite.
Well, I guess we could just go.
Well, I
Not
guess we
yet.
could. We'll just walk out and leave, and you can do this. So so I saw a movie. I had to go back to the 80s and pull up a classic. It is 976 Evil from 1988. Now this stars.
What kind of title is that?
Well, it stars Stephen Jeffries. He was Evil Ed from Fright Night. And they actually have a Fright Night reference in the film, which is actually pretty cool. It was directed by Robert Englund, Freddy Krueger himself.
Okay.
And it's a supernatural horror film about a socially awkward teenager played by Stephen Jeffries. The character's name is Hoax. And he gains dark powers after dialing a mysterious horror horoscope hotline. And as he becomes increasingly consumed by demonic forces, he uses his newfound abilities to exact revenge on those who have tormented him. And it's actually kind of a fun watch.
It seems like it's very highbrow.
Very much. Very 80s,
Yeah.
Obviously. And, it's one of those 3-star movies that you just watch because, it's one of those 3-star movies. But it was still kind of fun. So...
Is that what you gave it? Like 3 stars?
I would give it, 3 stars is what I give it, yeah.
I gave mine 3 stars too, and mine is not fun though.
Oh, no.
Oh my God, this movie is icky. I felt so gross after watching it. It's called Everyone is Going to Die from last year. And it's a home invasion movie. But this one has a little bit of a twist to it. But God, everything is so horrible in it. Like it just keeps getting worse. You're like, okay, can we lighten the mood just a tiny bit? Just an itsy bitsy bit. And they don't. They delve deeper into the ickiness.
Right.
But so check it out.
Okay. Great. Everyone is going to die.
Yeah.
Did you see anything, Shay, or you been just ready to go on our movie this week?
Well, I did finally watch The Wolfman.
Oh, what'd you think?
I did actually really like it. However, I really love, starting from the original Wolfman, it began the transition of really cool man to wolf to werewolf stuff. And I thought this one wasn't quite as spectacular as it should have been for a newer kind of movie. My favorite, of course, is still American Werewolf in London.
Classic.
And yeah, it didn't quite get there, but I thought the storyline was pretty great.
I think I share that too. I think the transformation could have been better.
Well, I mean, that's the problem though. When you try to more ground it in realism, is you're not gonna get an actual wolf. So, I mean, I'm with you there. I think my biggest problem was with the couple. I hated them.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
thought they had the chemistry of nothing.
A wet rag.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, wet rag is hotter than their chemistry could God, they are awful.
I kind of wish she had died, honestly.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, that would have been kind of cool. Just a little bit. Like the husband just killed her, and the kid just like, oh no, mommy.
It was pretty good overall, but yeah, there you brought up some good points about it. So
Well, and also it's like normally the transformation is quick. This one is an hour long. So yeah, it's definitely a different take. But
yeah, but I'm glad you saw it. We saw it when it came out, and I think we saw it. You and I, Michael, saw it at different times.
Yeah,
but,
you saw it when it was in theaters. Right. I saw it once it hit digital.
Okay,
so, yeah.
Did you see it, Danielle?
We saw it together.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, Brian.
Jesus,
that's right.
Brian.
We did go to see that one. We've seen so many together. I can't remember. I think most of them we have seen together.
That's true.
Oh, sorry about that.
Rude.
Egg on my face.
Tisk.
Jeez. Hey, production has finally wrapped on The Running Man. If you're not familiar with this, it's based on a 1982 Stephen King novel. This was already done once with Arnold Schwarzenegger in the lead role back in 1987. It's a dystopian thriller and directed by Edgar Wright, who also did Shaun of the Dead, and stars Glenn Powell as a man who competes in a deadly reality show where he is hunted for sport. And this 2025 update will be released November the 7th. So looking forward to that. I like the last one. I love the Stephen King novel. So it'd be nice to see it getting an update finally.
Nice. Yeah, Glenn Powell.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah.
If Edgar has anything to do with it, it's going to be great.
Yeah, I do believe so. All right. Well, shall we get into this week's film?
Let's do it.
This is a great movie from 1996. If you like vampires, then this is for you, in my opinion. It is From Dusk Till Dawn, and just the facts.
All right. This was written by Quentin Tarantino and directed by Robert Rodriguez. It stars Harvey Keitel, George Clooney, Quentin Tarantino, Juliette Lewis, Cheech Marin, who has 3 different roles in this film, and Salma Hayek. It was released January 19th, 1996. It has made over $59 million on a production budget of $19 million.
Did pretty well financially.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good one. Filming began on June 13th, 1995. Hey, that's when I was born.
That's right.
And wrapped on August 20th.
Throw that in there.
It was filmed in various locations around California, the Seattle area, and Chihuahua, Mexico.
That's right. They actually did go into Mexico to film part of this, which I thought was really cool. It wasn't just on a soundstage.
Where would they have filmed anything in Seattle in this?
Don't know. Could have been at a studio. Could have been somewhere. I don't know where, unless it was, I don't know. I mean, the Seattle area, Seattle, Redmond. So Redmond's outside of that, but don't know exactly what they would have filmed there, but maybe it was just some pickup shots, maybe some second unit photography going on.
I betcha it was the beginning shots of like when they were robbing getting the reporter stuff.
That could have been.
Yeah, it looked more moist there than the other locations.
Yeah,
so that would make sense.
That would make a lot of sense.
What a good word choice there.
Moist.
Yeah.
I had to work it in.
I know. To finish it off, it has a runtime of 108 minutes. Nice, good, solid runtime.
That's good.
So if you have not seen the movie and you want to go watch it first and then come back and join us, great. If you have seen it and you want to join the discussion, great. Either way works for us. But in either case, it is the movie that follows 2 criminal brothers, Seth and Richie Gecko, played by George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino, who take a family hostage and flee to Mexico. They stop at a remote bar only to discover it is infested with vampires. And this movie starts out as a really good crime thriller. And then as soon as they get to the bar, it turns into a gory horror showdown. And let's get going with this. It is From Dusk Till Dawn. So we start out with the brothers, and they have robbed a bank, and they've taken a teller hostage. And they're now at a liquor store, and the clerk, Pete Bottoms, is standing at the counter when Texas Ranger Earl McGraw shows up, and he's sitting there shooting the breeze. He does not see the brothers and the hostage kind of in a corner of the store.
Right.
And before the Ranger had come in, you don't see this, but they basically threatened the teller or the clerk, saying get him out of here as quickly as you can. And he tries, but this is a ranger who just wants to hang around and have a conversation and talk, and that's what he does.
Yeah.
So the clerk doesn't want to do anything that's going to raise his suspicions. So that's how we start.
Yeah. And there's a moment where he has to use the bathroom, and so he does. And then that's when you have the brothers come out of their hiding places, and they're plumb pissed. Like, he's like, well, I have to he would normally ask to use the bathroom, so I have to let him use the bathroom. Otherwise, things are going to look suspicious. And Tarantino he needs to be on a shorter leash from his brother, because good God, I forgot how awful of a person he is in this.
I don't think I've ever seen a movie with a bigger pervert, than this guy that Quentin plays.
have. It's from Little Children. There's a guy, Jackie Earl Haley.
Yeah?
The guy who did the reboot, Freddy Krueger.
Oh.
Yeah, he plays like a real creep who brings a snorkel and goggles to a kiddie pool.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you might have me on that.
Second most pervy.
Okay, so this dude, his name is Richie.
Richie Gecko, which doesn't
Richie
seem like a
Gecko.
pervert name.
But it certainly is.
Yeah.
He's really just bad. Cringeworthy bad, and almost like he has a split personality, because he's this tough guy, but then when he's around these women, he gets all Mr. Rogers like around him, and it's just like, what the hell, dude? Very creepy stuff.
Mr. Rogers from hell.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course, Mr. Rogers from hell. I don't want to, impugn Mr. Rogers at all, but it's definitely a different personality that comes out when he's around the girls.
Yeah.
So yeah,
But yeah, the sheriff's doing his thing in the bathroom, and then they're kind of just like being like, look, we're gonna kill you if you don't like get him out of here like right now, immediately, once he gets out of there.
right.
So he comes out, and they don't even give him a chance to
No,
kick him out. Richie just comes up and
does this.
Opening kill.
6 minutes and
what a
34
picture.
seconds. 6 minutes and 34 seconds. And Texas Ranger Earl McGraw is executed, shot in the back of the head by Richie. And he doesn't do anything. I mean, he's just standing there. He's about to leave.
Yeah.
And so Richie blows him away. George Clooney's character comes out. What the hell? What are you doing? And he tries to make it sound like Pete, the cashier, was mouthing things to him like, whatever, help us or
Right,
something.
yeah.
And that's not what he was doing at all. Richie just wanted to kill him, and he did.
Richie has visions multiple times in this movie.
Yeah.
Whether or not he actually believes it is the question. We never really find out.
Horny visions. Good God. But
I don't know if he was horny for this ranger, though.
I think he could have been. I could see it. If the ranger took his shoes off, he would have been horny for him.
Those toes.
Yeah.
Well,
what them toes do, bro.
I don't know. It just seems like it was. I was unexpected. I didn't think he was going to do that. But butter knife or butcher knife on this opening kill.
It's a butcher knife because
Yeah.
it's mostly so when the sheriff's on the ground, he's doing a very disturbing like twitch, and it just like really elevates it because it is just a headshot, but that extra little twitching kind of makes it way more grody. So
Right.
I'm gonna give it a butcher knife.
I think so too. I give it a butcher knife. And then Pete, the poor clerk, he dies a horrible death because he's shot, but then he grabs a gun out of the safe as he's down behind the counter.
Yeah.
And he gets the gun out and he shoots kind of blindly, and he hits Richie in the hand. So now there's a shootout going on inside the little convenience store here.
Right.
And so George Clooney, says, hey, Richie, shoot out all the bottles of liquor behind him. So he starts shooting them out. In the meantime, he's got like a roll of toilet paper or
Yep.
something, and he has some lighter fluid, lights it, and like a Molotov cocktail, tosses it over. And now you've got the alcohol over, and it just creates this fireball. And poor Pete now burns to death and dies this grisly death.
But it is kind of cute because at the end he's on fire, and then he jumps over and he lands in like a popcorn rack, and popcorn just starts popping because he's on
there's
fire.
that.
So that's adorable.
Adorable, I'm not sure the word I would use.
Whimsical,
but,
maybe.
Well, whimsical, maybe not that word either, but keep going. You'll get it eventually.
I don't think anyone would use the word adorable there, Michael, but you keep going.
Popcorn's cute. It's one of the cutest snacks.
Yeah, it could be, I guess. Yeah. So they leave, and this is a really funny scene because they're going out to their getaway car as flames start shooting out the side of the building. It's almost in concert, like it's a fireworks pyrotechnics display, and it's perfectly choreographed with their exit, and smoke is steaming out, and then another explosion goes off, and so they get in their car.
And Seth is just like lecturing him
Yeah.
the entire time. Like,
Yeah.
dude, you need to chill out.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah.
So they get in the car, and they have the teller stuffed in the trunk, the bank teller that they kidnapped. There's a very cool cutaway scene as the car is driving down the highway. The camera is a side shot of the car, and it goes to the trunk, and then there's like a balloon that shows up with the image of the teller tied up in the trunk of the car, which is a Tarantino type, signature shot, which is great.
How hot would that trunk be?
Oh my God.
Like miserable.
Miserable.
Yeah.
hot.
That's
Yeah.
all I was thinking. I was like, I would have been a sweaty mess.
Oh man. Yeah, you wouldn't be in good shape.
No.
So
I'd
they-
be crying.
They drive to this motel and they check into a room, and Seth now has to go into town to get supplies or food, whatever. So that leaves Richie alone with the hostage. Her name is Gloria, by the way.
She
And-
seems like such a sweet lady too.
She really does. And they say, because they're watching TV and there's the news is on and they're talking about the brothers going on this killing spree and how they've kidnapped the bank teller, who is a mother of however many kids and married and all this stuff. Well, they get to the motel and all this stuff happens now. So Richie and her are alone in the room, and this is that Mr. Rogers moment. He totally changes character. He goes into the bedroom and turns on the TV, and he looks out because she's tied up on the couch out in the living room area
Right.
of this motel room, and says, "Oh, you want to join me on the bed so we can watch TV?" And he's like patting the mattress, and for whatever reason, she gets up and she goes there to sit
what's she
with
gonna
him.
do? Tell him no?
I guess
She's in like a
but-
very compromised position.
Oh my gosh! Yes, I guess so. She does, and then we cut away.
Yeah, because Seth went to get some food or whatever.
Yep.
And when he comes back, he actually has some Big Kahuna Burger
Right.
fast food, which is Pulp Fiction. You know all about that.
Yep.
Which is Tarantino. And so, yeah, he gets back. And this is where we learn that Richie, like, fucking raped her and then murdered her.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
And Seth's pissed. He's like,
Oh, yeah.
He tries to act like he's a good guy. He's like, I'm a clean criminal. I don't kill people unless I have to.
Right.
And you're like, okay, Seth, sit down. Like,
No.
we saw the news graphic. You kill plenty of folks.
Yeah, exactly. So next we meet Jacob Fuller. He is a former pastor who lost his wife in a car accident. And so he's kind of denounced God, doesn't
Right.
believe anymore. He's no longer a pastor. And he's traveling in an RV with his son, Scott, and his daughter, Kate, who's played by Juliette Lewis, who is just fantastic in this movie. And they stop at the same inn that the brothers are. And so they're...
Well, yeah, because Seth was pissed because now they don't have a way to get into Mexico.
Yeah.
Because that's how they were going to use her to do that. So they're just
Right.
like, shit, we have to find someone else now. So
Yes.
that's where they're going to come in.
So the RV pulls in to the parking lot, and Seth actually is walking across the parking lot. They almost hit him, and he's just standing there staring at them. And you can see the wheels are starting to go now. He's like, "Oh, I think we have a way." So we cut to a little bit later, and it's the son, and it is the dad played by the wonderful Harvey Keitel, and he's taking a nap. And you're thinking, they're in an RV. Why are they stopping in a motel? Well, he explains it to his kids on the way there that he just wants one more night in an actual bed, not an RV bed. So they check into this motel. Their mistake. His mistake, I should say.
Right. I mean, he does have a teenage son. I would want as much space between me and him as possible. 'Cause,
Right.
yeah, that'd be awful. He's traveling with a teenage boy. Like, good God. In an RV? No,
In an
thank
RV.
you. No, thank you.
Yeah. So Richie knocks on their door
Yeah.
and says, "Hey, it's your neighbor from room 11.
And he has a hole in his hand, too, by the way,
yeah.
that he's fixed up with duct tape.
Yeah. Yeah. And so wakes Harvey Keitel up, his character, and he gets up and he goes to the door and answers it. And Richie says, hey, my lady friend and I are across the hall. We don't have an ice bucket. Can we borrow yours? And so he goes to get it and he turns around and Richie has a gun on him, comes in. Seth is right behind him. And they threaten to kill everybody if they don't cooperate. And then Kate comes in a bikini. So, like I said, she's been out swimming.
Right.
And so essentially they just take them all hostage and they leave in the RV to go to Mexico.
But not before Richie has a weird ass
Oh my God. This is
fantasy
weird.
or like just vision or just delusion.
Voices in his head, I guess.
Yeah, because she like turns around and is like, fuck, what does she say?
Do you want to eat my pussy? Is what she says.
Please.
But she doesn't actually say that. It's just in his
not.
head. And so he's like, do you mean it? Do you really mean it?
Oh boy, would I.
And she's like looking at it like, what the hell are you doing? So
But isn't she supposed to be like 15 or something in this
she's
movie?
a teenager in this movie. They're both teenagers.
Yeah, so
Yeah. So
add that to his list of gross things about him.
So they pile into the RV and they head for the Mexican border. And that's where we learn about, their mother, the father's, wife died in this car accident, all this stuff. And we get to the border and there is Cheech Marin.
Yeah.
Cheech, he's a border guard. This is the first of 3 different characters that he plays in this movie.
Right.
So he's, he comes up to the window and asks Harvey Keitel's character, whose name is Jacob, and says, so what is your purpose for going to Mexico? And he's just on vacation with my teenage son. It's like, okay. Then they hear a thump because the brothers have taken Kate and shoved her. They all went into the bathroom to hide, this little RV bathroom. And the brother, Richie, was getting a little out of hand.
Yeah. And
so George Clooney punched him out, knocked him out to keep him quiet. And they hear this thump, and Cheech hears this thump, the border guard. And he goes, what was that? And Jacob says, well, that's my teenage daughter. Oh, I thought you just had your son. Well, yeah, and my teenage daughter. So now red flags are up.
Right.
They decide to search the RV. And Juliette Lewis, sits on the toilet, pulls down her pants, makes it look like she's doing her business, while the brothers are in the shower.
Right.
Seth is holding up Richie because he's knocked out, and so Cheech opens the door. This is another little creepy moment.
No, it's so creepy. Oh my God.
Because she's sitting there on the toilet, and he's just looking at her, and he gets this little hint of a smile, and his eyes are going up and down, and she's like, "Excuse me,
Right?
Would you close the door now?"
No. It's shut the damn door, please.
Shut the damn door, please. That's right. That's right.
But if you look, his so in this scene, his name badge says Oscar Marin, which is his real life's father's name.
Oh, wow.
And he was an LAPD officer, so it's kind of a little homage to him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they end up getting through the border, and they're celebrating, and so they get into this town in Mexico, and they end up at their final destination. So the reason they're going to Mexico is the brothers are meeting up with a friend to get paid off and, for all of their work, whatever, their life of crime. And so that is the place that the friend, Carlos, told them to go. And so they end up at this bar called the Twisted Titty.
No, the Titty Twister.
Or the Titty Twister, sorry. And it's this huge, it's not even really, it's a bar, but it's
just so decked out in neon. This is the point where the movie changes.
Yes.
Like, as soon as you see this building, you're like, oh, okay. This is something new.
Yeah. It's a strip club in the middle of the desert for bikers and truckers.
With just an unappealing name. Like, want to go down to the Titty Twister?
Right.
Like, no, thank you.
Right.
For those of you who may have watched it on daytime TV, they changed it to the Kitty Twister.
Which sounds so much worse.
That is way worse. Oh my gosh. I didn't know that.
That's a visual I didn't need.
No.
There's no good way to censor this movie. Just don't.
Just don't show it during the day. If you can't show it the way it was meant to be seen, I hate that when they do that to these films.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when it's just like something like this. It's just like, no one wants to watch it in that version.
No.
Like, your grandma's not going to be like, oh, let's check this film out. No, just leave it be.
So there's a sign over the door, and it reads "Open from Dusk Till Dawn," hence the name of the movie. So
Yeah,
that's
they
where
said
we
it.
are.
And we also meet Cheech's other role, which is just fantastic. His name's Chet Pussy. And then he proceeds to list all the different kind of pussy they have in this place. It's very diverse.
It's like a carnival barker.
Yeah,
who's getting
He's
you to try and come
we got
and do
all
the games.
We got the cold pussy made me like, okay.
The smelly pussy. That one was.
I was
like,
more concerned about the cold one first. I was like, do they have a gynecologist on staff? I hope so, because some of those sound like an issue.
So he's just throwing. I mean, he's obviously done this a million times. So
Yeah.
he's just running down the list to get people to come in, and they wasn't going to let them in, and they beat the shit out of him. You know, first it's Richie, and then yeah. Well, actually, no. Who was it that got him first? Because Richie comes up after he's already on the ground and just kicks him, 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, he beats the pussy, unfortunately.
Yeah. It was bad. Poor Chet Pussy. So the brothers.
He really was a victim in all this.
He really was. So they all get inside this place, and it's all topless dancers. And they're on multiple levels. They're up on a second level on the side of the building. They're on, like just on the ground level. You've got a 3-piece band that's playing as well, which was Robert Rodriguez was part of that band, as well as Oingo Boingo drummer Johnny Hernandez. He was also part of the band.
Oingo Boingo?
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
Do you not
Danny
know?
Elfman?
Oh my god.
Do you know who Danny Elfman is?
I know him, yeah.
that's his band. That's his 80s band.
He has a band.
Michael, get out.
Oh, God. I quit. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not familiar with the 80s rock band
Oh my
workings
God.
of Danny Elfman.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I know that, and I'm the youngest one here. So.
Yeah. Look at that. Look
Well,
at that, Michael. How does that make you
jeez.
feel?
I guess I'm not cultured.
Thank you, Danielle. The quietest, youngest one pipes up and puts you
Yeah,
in your
just to
place.
roast me.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well,
You're welcome.
You're an easy target, though. So,
I am,
yeah.
unfortunately.
So they're in here. They go up to the bar and they try and get a drink. And the
Mm-hmm.
bartender's like, no, you don't belong here. This is for bikers and truckers only. Well, as it turns out, to drive a motorhome, you have to have, I guess, a Class A, special license. I don't drive an RV. I don't know how that works.
I believe it's a Class C.
Or Class C.
Do you
Is it
really?
a Class C or Class? I don't know what it is.
I don't know.
So
So
it's a
all
different
those
class.
like old fuckers who drive around the country have a Class C.
You have to have a trucker, special
Yeah, you
trucker's
do.
license for that. Yeah.
Huh.
So, and so he goes through this speech about how I drive an RV and here's my license. You can see it. And then the bartender's like, oh, my friends. Yeah, you can have drinks. You can stay. And
Wait. We got to mention this bartender is no ordinary bartender.
no, it's not.
It is Danny Trejo.
Yes,
Young, gorgeous Danny Trejo with the hair.
he does have lovely hair.
He's got beautiful hair.
Yeah, he does.
And rippling pectorals.
Yep.
Yeah, he's wearing just a little vest. Just a little vest.
I don't think I've ever seen that man in like a shirt.
You don't need to.
You don't know. I mean, I would
No.
be like, that's weird if he was in a shirt, but
I guess he wore a
Right.
shirt in Spy Kids, but that was probably just because he was around children. So.
that's unfortunate.
We also get to see,
Which was also Robert Rodriguez.
yeah,
Correct.
right?
What a.
I know. All of these dots are connecting here. So,
So Cheech was in that too.
yep,
Yeah.
he was.
Yeah.
So we also get to meet Salma Hayek's character. She's an exotic dancer, Satanico Pandemonium. And I think this is great. And she comes out and she has a big snake. I don't even know what kind of snake it is, but it's a big one.
It's an
Yeah.
albino boa constrictor.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah, I looked it up.
So they couldn't even, she didn't have a choreographer for her number because the snake made it impossible to choreograph anything.
Mm-hmm.
So Robert Rodriguez just told her to improvise, do what you got to do. And she did, and it worked.
Oh, she did.
Yeah.
She fucking really did.
Yeah.
But did you know that she has a huge fear of snakes and like refuses to ever like be around them in her day to day? And when she read the script, she's like, "Yeah, I'm not going to be able to do this." And then Robert Rodriguez, I guess she has beef with Madonna because he told her, "Well, Madonna's going to take it if you don't." So then she went to
Oh.
like therapy to be able to like be around snakes. So I don't know if there's some beef there, but
Dang.
apparently it made her want to do it. And her name, which is just incredible, Satanico Pandemonium.
Yeah,
Originally,
Satanico.
it was her name was going to be Blonde Death, but Robert Rodriguez wanted to have more of like a Latin influence in this role.
Okay.
So they changed it. But it's from a movie called Satanico Pandemonium from 1975 that Tarantino was a big fan of when he was working the video rental shelves like in the store. He loved that cover. So that's where it comes from.
That's great.
And it's about like a satanic nun, which seems fun.
It does seem fun, doesn't
Super
it?
fun.
Yeah.
Well, we know Tarantino uses so many different references in his movies. You see different shots and things throughout this film and all of his other films.
Mm-hmm.
And every interview he talks about all of his idols, and you see it. So this makes a lot of sense. And the
Right.
blonde death thing, I could see them using that for Madonna.
Right. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I'm glad they changed it for her.
Same. That role would not have been as sexy if it was Madonna.
No.
No.
So all hell is about to break loose here, and this movie has so many kills in it. So we're going to try and go through this. Obviously, we don't have time to go through each individual kill because there are more than 100. So there are events that happen that include multiple kills, and that's kind of what we're going to do. And then we'll give you a final individual count at the very end of this. But it goes crazy because Seth is resentful that he was not considered good enough at first to be in the bar when he first was refused drinks because he wasn't a trucker or a biker. He's sitting there and he's letting it stew. So he's already on
He has
edge.
a bowl cut. Like,
Yeah.
you're not badass. And a terrible neck tattoo.
Right. So it turns into a bar fight. Okay. And this is where we start to see that these people are vampires. And right out of the bat, we have 7 bar patrons that are just completely destroyed by vampires. And they are turned into musical instruments for the band to play. You look over and the guitarist is playing, a torso of one of the bodies that was just ripped apart. We have a biker whose neck gets torn out. And then we have poor Chet Pussy, whose insides are ripped out.
So Juliette Lewis, she shoves a cross in his mouth, which then makes his like face melt with its incredible effects.
Right.
And then his eyes just kind of like turn into goo as well.
So the effects, Shay is a makeup artist, special effects makeup artist. You've worked in film and done some TV stuff too. What do you think about what you saw as far as some of the effects in this movie?
Oh man, this movie is just so incredible. So this film was actually created specifically to show off really cool makeup effects. 3 different men who had worked together before. It was Kurtzman, Nicotero, and Berger, and they created KNB EFX Group. And they wanted to make this group to kind of help themselves out. They had been contract and freelance makeup artists, and you're not really well taken care of when that happens. So they talked to Tarantino, who they'd worked with before. They talked to Rodriguez, who they'd worked with a little bit before. They'd also worked with Sam Raimi and all the same friends. This is a very small group of friends at this point. And they were like, listen, we want to create something where we can show off all this really cool stuff. It might not make sense at the moment. Kurtzman actually was the one that started the story. It was just a very short story and handed it to Tarantino saying, please make better, make good. And he sure did. So this has all been planned out from the beginning of trying to make something to show off everything they could possibly do, from something as simple as a neck tattoo where you have to worry about continuity every single day, to a hand wound, to full-on body prosthetics and really weird, interesting deaths. And I think the beginning ones that we're just starting to talk about, they kind of start out on the, I want to say, simpler side, because we haven't even gotten to the full body transitioned vampires yet. They're just starting. You're starting to see faces change. They haven't even began to get fully naked and full body suits yet. A lot of the actual really cool scenes that they filmed and really cool prosthetics that they made and weird little effects didn't even make it into this movie for pacing and for rating, because of course you got a little too much blood and gore. Even if the vampire blood is green, turns out that'll still make it rated R or NC-17 and
Right.
They
things
cut, I think, the coolest death in the movie, which is it the stomach mouth?
The stomach mouth.
Oh God, it's so cool.
Oh, I'm so mad that they cut that one out because it's so weird. Like, why would a vampire have a mouth in its tummy? But it was weird. It was cool. Anyway,
And it bites off this dude's head. It's great.
It does.
It's great.
Wow.
And that footage is really hard to find nowadays. It was on their reel for this new the group that they created, but now the group has gone on to make incredible work, and they're still mostly together. Kurtzman did leave the group in 2003, but the other two have stuck it out, and they all still also work in film separately as their own entities, and worked on pretty much every horror movie we ever loved.
Right.
And especially Nick Otero, he still works on every single Tarantino and Rodriguez film ever since this.
Yeah.
So it is very cool. We're going to see some really great ones, and I'm sure I'll have more things to say at that point too. But yeah, this is impressive work. And it was all just to show off makeup. So of course I love this movie. Duh.
Right. I also want to mention that in the middle of all this too, Richie is actually killed by Selma Hayek's character. And she bites him, and that's the end of Richie.
Because she turns into like a snake vampire thingy.
Something like that. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So the evil pervy brother is the human version of him is dead.
Yeah.
We'll come back to him in again because he'll reappear as the
and he
vampire
didn't
version.
get it nearly as bad as he should have.
No, he didn't.
Like we were talking about this a little bit, where it's like
I
he would have
know.
enjoyed to be killed by getting bit by Selma Hayek.
Oh, I would too.
Yeah.
I would also enjoy it. And
Yeah.
Oh no, harder, please.
he also got to suck on her toes earlier too.
He
so
did.
Oh my God!
God,
She
what-
pours alcohol down her leg and runs down her toes, and
I
she sticks those in his mouth.
I hate feet. I'm the opposite of Tarantino. They're so disgusting to me. That's the worst scene.
Well, there's more kills that happen here. So she actually gets killed because Seth manages to shoot at a chandelier right above her, and that actually impales her.
Not before delivering that 80s action hero line. She's like, prepare to be like a slave or
Oh, I
something.
know,
And he's
right.
just like, no thanks. I've already been married.
bunch.
Oh, so only Seth, Jacob, Kate, Scott, a biker named Sex Machine, who's great, and Frost, who is a Vietnam War veteran, survive this whole thing. There were tons of people in here. I mean, I'm just looking at the kills here, and there's another character by the name of Tucker who gets his arm ripped off. 4 dancers get staked. 6 dancers get staked alone by Sex Machine.
Is that the one where he does the in the table where he like?
I think,
each-
yeah.
No, that's
No,
Frost.
no,
who
that's
does
Frost.
each
Yeah, that's Frost.
Leg in a table. That's so
Yeah.
great.
Razor Charlie, another character, he gets staked, and then we lose Satanic. What is her name? I've got it.
Satanico Pandemonium.
Pandemonium. Yeah, she's impaled by the chandelier, as I mentioned. And then, just more stuff here. 2 bar patrons they get their necks broken by Big Emilio, another fun character who we'll get to his death later, which is one of my favorites. We have 9 background bodies that are just killed randomly during the bar melee. And then Big Emilio, as I mentioned, he gets decapitated.
No, he gets
doesn't get decapitated.
So he gets his heart ripped out.
That's right.
And you just see it in this dude's hand, but it's like it doesn't do anything to him. He's about to come up until Sex Machine grabs the number 2 pencil and stabs it into the heart, because I guess that counts as a stake.
Yes, it does.
And-
So it was actually his heart.
And
And
he just
there we go.
It's so abrupt too. It's like as soon as it hits the heart, he just goes like.
Yeah.
And
We
I
do.
think he did make that sound too, like.
He might, it was compared to everything else, it was a very delicate kill.
Dainty almost.
Very dainty.
Yes.
Very dainty, which is why I think it's probably my favorite. It was just I was not expecting that. It was just like,
We do need to talk about Sex Machine for a minute.
Yes.
He has
His gun?
the coolest penis gun in the world.
So so this is before everything, blows up.
Right.
And he's sitting at a table, and there's another biker that comes up to him and takes out a knife, threatens him with it, and he just looks at him. The camera pans down to his crotch, and this little pouch opens, and this gun with the barrels underneath it, making it look like a penis and balls.
Just a cock and balls.
Yep.
He brought a knife to a cock and ball gunfight.
That's what it was. And so the biker looks down, puts his knife away, and runs away. But that was a very cool moment.
Not only that, he also gets a whip. I want this man. He gets all the fun things. He gets a cool penis gun and a whip. Like, I want all those fun things.
Can you imagine if like Indiana Jones had the penis gun?
Yes.
Oh my God. Would have been a whole different movie.
Can we make that movie? Can someone do that, please?
We'll look into that, Michael.
Yeah.
We get the funding, and we'll
I
see
think
what
Harrison
we can do.
Ford would love to have a cock gun.
Probably. Who wouldn't, I guess, right? I don't know.
He could be like Sex Machine.
Could be. Well, let's see what else happens. I mean, we have 24 background bodies that are killed randomly in this next sequence. I literally spent a good 3 hours going through and counting bodies, trying to keep track. I think I'm close. I may be off. I don't know. But there were 24 that were different from the other ones. 4 dancers get stabbed and shot, and I think maybe even headbutted in that scene. The house band. Let's talk about the house band here.
Yeah, what is this? This is
the Titty Twister house band. Featuring
Do
Robert.
they have a band name? Do they have a band name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They tell you?
Yeah. That was the band name.
No, it's Tito and the Tarantula.
Tito. Yeah, their real band is Tito and the Tarantula. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I was hoping for a cooler name.
No. So they're vampires too, and it's like they commit suicide and electrocute themselves to get. Or
Yeah,
something.
they just
It's
blow up. They're like, fuck you, we're out.
They're
and then
flipping
they're out.
them off, and then they electrocute, and that's the end of the house band.
Yeah, no more sick beats.
Nope. And then Seth goes up to his dead brother and tells him how much he loves him, and then Richie opens.
Why do you love him?
Richie opens his eyes. I love you too, brother, and wakes up as the vampire Richie.
Yeah.
And then Seth actually ends up staking him. After everybody else, kill him. He's not your brother anymore. Kill him. And
Even if he was, kill him.
Kill him, yeah, because he's worthless. So actually, Richie dies twice. Once as a human, once as a vampire. And that is kill event number 20.
Thank God. That guy needed to die twice.
He did need to die twice.
Maybe even a third time.
Yes.
If we could have managed to do that, that would have
How
been great.
fun would have if Sex Machine would have shot him with his penis gun?
Oh my God.
I get it, Michael. I also love the penis gun.
Yeah.
It's such a random. I don't know.
Well, it was random. I wasn't
It's
expecting
so
it.
funny.
Yeah.
The logistics of it, though. I wonder how that works.
Yeah.
Like, how cool if he just thrust and that's what made it shoot.
Right?
Right. Yeah. Boy, it just keeps going because there's still. I'm going to keep rolling here.
Did anyone get killed by it?
Yeah.
Someone gets
yeah.
killed by the penis gun?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't
Thankful.
you worry, Michael.
Thank God.
People die by the penis gun.
It should have been Richie, though. It would have been fitting.
It would have been.
Yeah.
And if. Never mind.
Moving on.
Yeah. We're good.
So
Continue.
everybody's pretty much dead here. I mean, we have more people that get killed. I mean, Sex Machine goes after people. There's another trucker that gets set on fire. Sex Machine, though, I think by far has the most kills in this thing.
He's fucking staking people left and right.
Even Kate, little dainty Juliette Lewis, gets into the action and stakes a patron. She gets pretty good at it.
Yeah.
As we get, more
She even
and more
gives the old,
into this.
I'm A-okay
Yeah.
to Sex Machine.
So Seth, Kate, and Scott escape to a storeroom, followed shortly by an injured but still alive Jacob, who has been bitten by a vampire.
No.
Not yet.
Has he not been bitten yet?
Well, he may have been, but Sex Machine gets bitten.
Oh, Sex
And
Machine does get.
he does, and this
Yeah.
is where I'm like, oh, you kind of suck, because he does the old, hides
Oh, right,
it from
you're
the
right,
group.
Yep. Oh, he does.
Yeah.
He puts his leather jacket on to
Like
hide
the
the wound.
dummy.
It's like, what do you, you can't, you're going to turn into a vampire. You can't hide it
Yeah.
forever. I don't get the point of, and there's always that character who does that.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, they won't figure it out.
Right.
They will.
They just watched everyone kill Richie, though. So I think we know, everyone in this group is going to kill me. So I'm going to hide it or try to sneak away. Something along the lines of that. But he doesn't get away fast enough, that's for sure.
So Sex Machine is actually the one that bites Frost and then bites Jacob. Frost throws Sex Machine into the door, and that's what allows the rest of these.
Shit ton of vampire bats to just like fly in.
Yeah.
There's so many like different types of vampires in this.
Right.
It's very creative.
Yeah.
I like it.
So this is where Seth, Kate, and Scott, and then the injured Jacob end up in the, that storeroom.
This is like such a cool storeroom because it's like this place is like a dumping grounds for like contraband of all different kinds. So they have such a diverse little box full of fun little things and trinkets. And
because what they've been doing is these bikers and these truckers are coming through and then they're killing them and going through their trucks.
Right.
And taking out whatever they have. So now, yeah, you're right. They've got like an arsenal of things here. So, and some of the weapons they pull out are pretty cool, but I have to say, this part of the film kind of made me go, because there's some awfully anti-vampire weapons that they're pulling out. Like the one gun that fires like 3 like arrows or whatever. I don't know. It just seemed like
but that counts as a stake.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's
the
not
dad
something
does,
you would think to find randomly. But I
mean, they could be like weapons mules or something.
Yeah, I mean, they could.
Yeah.
The question would be, why would the vampires keep something like that if it would, at any potential point, kill them?
Maybe they hadn't gone through these boxes yet.
Maybe
this was like the holding room for it.
Could be. But that was my thought, too. If you're a vampire, why would you want to keep weapons on hand that would kill you specifically?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Yeah. I don't know. So, yeah, so the storeroom there, it's a very cool sequence where they're all getting their own weapons and going through there. And we're also now to the point where Jacob, in order for the holy water to work, has to find his faith again. And this is where Seth is telling him, this isn't going to work without you. You have to find your belief, find your faith again, or the holy water isn't going to be effective.
Seth giving like a preacher, like a faith pep talk was interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And Kate's like, well, Daddy, are you going to be okay? And Jacob's like, no, I'm a vampire. I will turn probably within the hour.
Yeah, and he's telling him, like, you have to kill me.
Yeah.
He's like, and he threatens to, like, do it himself right in front of him right then and there.
Because they promised to do it, but he doesn't believe them. And he goes, you swear to me that you're going to do this, and they don't. So he pulls the gun and holds it to his head. He goes, you either swear right now, or I'm just going to commit suicide right now, and it'll just be the 3 of you instead of 4 of us fighting. Yeah. And so finally the kids, he does this countdown from 5 with Kate, and when he gets to 1, she finally says, okay, I swear. And then he turns to his son and he goes, you have even less time. I'm going to start at 3. And then you think, he's either going to bluff or he's going to do it. And then, his son's like, okay, I swear. So, yeah.
And the son's weapons are like squirt guns full of holy water and water balloons.
Yeah, odd-looking water balloons.
They look like condoms.
They are condoms.
They are condoms?
Yeah,
Nice.
That's what they look like.
Okay.
They didn't look just like balloons.
Why would the vampires keep balloons back there?
For parties?
Condoms make a lot more sense, y'all.
Absolutely, they do.
Can vampires get pregnant?
Twilight. Wait, no, she's not a vampire yet.
She's not yet.
No,
yeah.
she's not.
Once again, they're getting this stuff from the truckers.
Right.
So most likely it was a truck
gross. Trucker condoms. That's way worse than normal condoms.
It was a truck shipment, Michael.
Yeah. Come on,
It's in the
Michael.
back of the truck.
Jeez.
Still.
Oh, my gosh. So the group makes their final assault, and Sex Machine ends up mutating into this big-ass rat-looking type thing.
Why? Yeah. Why does he get like 3 lives?
Yeah, I don't know, but he does. He does, and he attacks Seth, but he's killed, and that's when we see Jacob, finally turn into a vampire.
Mm-hmm.
And after he kills Frost, but Scott, the son, hesitates to kill him, and he allows Jacob to bite him, and which I wasn't expecting. I thought the 3 of these guys, the 2 kids and Seth, were going to get out of this movie alive, but not the case.
But before the pastor changes, he does have this incredible kill sequence where he shoves his shotgun through vampire Frost.
Yes.
And then shoots like 3 other vampires while the gun is through Frost's body.
And then
That's
Frost
great.
just turns into this. And a lot of them start to like melt and
we do have
things.
some really it's cheesy, shitty CGI, but it's so 90s. I love it. Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. You could tell it when it turns into not so practical effects, but it's so fun to watch.
Exactly.
still.
Yeah.
This
I
whole-
don't mind
this
it.
whole thing. I mean, when they, as soon as they get to the bar and we get in here, this whole movie, just the pace of it just goes, and it's just like a roller coaster. It's just
Yeah.
so much fun to watch. You know, you kind of forgive some of the effects here and there because it's just fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as where other movies we've seen, not so fun, and you're really drawn to the inadequacies in some of the technology they use and some of the effects. So,
Right.
Yep, definitely. But anyway, that's just my 2 cents worth. But it's just a fun movie. Jacob gets defeated with holy water, and so that's the
Doesn't
end
the
of,
kid like hit
Mhm.
a water condom onto his dad's
Yeah.
face?
I think,
Nice.
yeah, does that. Scott and 4 vampires with holy water, because Scott now is just overwhelmed by vampires. He's being bitten. And so,
Right.
and
So he's now he's getting like torn apart, and he's begging his sister
Yep.
now. He's like, now you got to shoot me.
Yeah.
Horrible fucking day for these
Oh my
children.
God,
Like,
yes.
specifically her.
Yeah.
So she does, which ends up bursting those
Condoms.
condom holy water holders, and then it kills the 4 vampires around him, which they're so obviously mannequins in that scene. I don't even care. I love it.
Yeah,
It's
it was a
cheesy.
great scene. Really was a great scene. So, you know, that's kill event number 31. But remember, inside of these events, there are multiple, in many cases, multiple deaths, and we'll get that final number here in a minute. So it's just Kate and Seth now, and there's holes in the building, and from all the gunfire that has taken place throughout the night. So now we're seeing beams of light coming
Yep.
through, and the vampires are kind of circling around trying to stay out of the light. One of them actually does get in and burns itself, and
Yeah, it's like when you touch the stove, you're like, ooh,
yeah, ooh.
ow.
But I think it didn't quite make that noise, but it did make a noise. It did react vocally.
It was more like, ah,
Yeah, that.
something more oomphy.
Something more. Ooh, is that a word? Oomphy?
Oomphy. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And so,
And then they steal the ending to Scooby-Doo's live action.
oh my God. Well, Kate has a couple of bullets left. And so Seth's telling her, shoot more holes. And so they do. And, you know, the vampires are kind of freaking out now. And then there's this loud bang on the door, and it's Carlos. It's the friend who Seth was supposed to meet up with, along with Richie. And
Cheech Martin again.
Cheech who?
What's his name, Michael?
Yeah, what's his name, Michael? Let's say Cheech Marin, maybe? Yeah, I think it's Cheech Marin.
Yeah, Marin. Duh.
Playing his third role.
What do you guys think it was?
Playing his third role, which is Carlos. And so he's like, shoot the door open or break it down, whatever. And they do. The sunlight comes in. It hits a disco ball in the ceiling and sends out prisms of light all over the building and wipes out the rest of the vampire
Yeah, it's
population.
literally the same way that
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo ends.
It is. I mean, it's just like...
Who did it first, Michael?
Well, obviously this one, but Scooby-Doo knew a good idea when they saw one. They're like, we can do that.
Yeah. No, it's a great kill. I thought it was, you know, amazing. I thought just the sunlight was going to come in and, you know, back him up. I didn't have any idea that there was a disco ball that would be involved here and that it would just wipe out 14 of them. That's how many die in this final scene. So, that's
Like,
the
yes,
end.
it's a little goofy, but also it was an incredible shot.
I think so, but you're right. It is goofy, but I think it stays with the whole feel of this movie.
It doesn't feel out of place.
No, it
Exactly.
doesn't. It doesn't. I would agree, though. Yeah, I mean, a disco ball just takes out 14 vampires, you know?
Right, it sounds weird when we're saying it out loud, but it looked really cool, you guys.
So, you know, we cut to the end of the movie now, and Kate is, you know, looking at Seth, who's about to get in his car, and that Carlos has provided for him. And they're going to this town called El Rey, and that's a kind of a safe haven for, you know, fugitives on the run, which is what Richie and Seth were. And that was part of the deal. That's what they were meeting up with him for. But in exchange, you know, Carlos was going to take 30% of their
Right.
money. Well, they start negotiating because Seth says, well, you know, my brother was killed because you made us come to this place. Have you ever been here before? Well, no, but I've driven by it and seen it and thought, well, no, it's
It
just
looked awesome.
Looked awesome. It's a bar in the middle of the desert, no cops, nothing, right?
Called Titty Twister.
Yeah. So they negotiate, and Seth wants him only to give him 15%, and he's a bad negotiator because he still ends up giving him 25%. Is what they go, but. So Kate,
So he only got it down 5%.
5%. That's all it was.
That's all his brother's
they
life's
were
worth.
at 20% and then went back up to 25%. So terrible negotiator. But that was that. So we see Kate now kind of standing there. She's lost her entire family.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like she's there by herself. And so Seth tosses her, a lot of money, just a big chunk, a big wad of cash.
Especially in the 90s.
Yeah.
That's like...
Oh, this was probably, I don't know how much it was, but it was a big stack of bills.
Yeah.
That they, gotten from the bank, obviously, not legally, but they got it. So she was going to be sad, but she kind of looked at him and said, so you want some company? And he's like, no, I don't think so, but, be safe.
Doesn't he say something like, I'm fucking stupid. I'm not that fucking stupid,
something
though.
like that. Yeah, something like that at the end. So she just kind of, okay. So he jumps in his car, drives off, and then the next
She
thing
jumps into her dead family's RV.
well, that's it. And then you see the RV pulling out of the parking lot, and then we cut to the credits. So that was that. So final kill count. It's an interesting one. We have 32 different events that happen in this movie with kills. Total individual kills 145.
Nice.
Which I think is the most
Easy.
we've ever had on here.
Yeah.
And again, I'm pretty sure that is accurate within a few here and there, but these are tough when you have to go back through the movie and like freeze and start counting bodies and make sure you're not double counting and everything else.
Right.
So, yeah.
When the movie is this good, you definitely want to pause and count how many heads are popping.
Right.
What are you trying to say there?
I'm not saying anything.
Uh-huh.
Well, I think
Daybreakers is a beautiful film.
here we go. I knew we were going to go back to this Daybreakers thing.
I've been holding back, man.
So when we did Daybreakers several weeks ago, Shay was listening, and I actually changed my opinion. Didn't hate it as much as I did when I first saw it, when it first came out. So Shay writes this email to me and Michael, and it's a roast of Michael is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was very, very funny until you came after me. And I'm like, whoa, time out. This is no longer, well, it was actually funny.
I mentioned your name 2 times.
Yeah, and you mentioned Michael like 300. So
Correct.
And it was not very good either. It was funny.
It was pretty darn funny to
was
me,
funny.
too.
It was pretty
Anyway,
good.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
Favorite scene for me, I'm going to say it was the disco ball scene. I just thought it was funny and it was unexpected and I enjoyed it. It was like, oh my God, look at the lights killing all the vampires, all 14 of them.
It's like Christmas.
Favorite character would have been, just say Cheech Marin because he played just, very, very funny characters. But probably Chet Pussy was the
Correct answer.
I think just because he's just outlandish.
That's Chet Pussy, man.
Yeah.
Put some respect on his name.
Right. And then favorite kill for me, it was Big Emilio when they have his heart in his hand and with a number 2 pencil just ding.
It's very Mortal Kombat.
Very much.
Yeah.
But on a much smaller, more docile level.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So my favorite character is Chet Pussy, just because, and the favorite kill is also Chet Pussy. Because I love his face melting scene. I think the effects work there is just incredible. Favorite scene, God, is just the whole titty twister, like bar fight chaos. Like that feels like one scene.
It does.
Kind of.
It does. I would have to say that too, probably. it is just this. Yeah.
There's not many scenes. It's like you get the stuff before, little things here, and then you're just here for the rest of the movie, and it's all just one giant fight.
Yeah, it's all in real time. There's no jumping around.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I guess you could split it up with for the bar scenes of, was it when it was just down to like the final 4 humans?
Right.
Or was it when like Sex Machine and them were still alive?
Fair, yeah.
Which one would you pick? Was it when the boys were still alive or when it was down to like mostly just George Clooney and Juliette Lewis?
Sex Machine staking everyone was pretty fucking cool. So
Yeah.
I liked when Sex Machine was alive.
Yeah.
Speaking of, when he turns into the rat, Did you know that the sounds, a lot of them, they used a lot of different ones, but a lot of them were provided by Robert Rodriguez's baby son, Rocket Rodriguez, who was just learning to talk.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So cute.
That is
so
cute.
So precious.
Robert Rodriguez is just an amazing director. He's a self-made director. He started when he was a kid.
And he's kind of a kid in this movie. He was only like 23 or something.
Taught himself film, and he actually is a camera operator in this as well.
Okay.
And he did the editing himself, which he does on all of his films. He's an editor and directed. So he did a few things in this film, but yeah, I love Robert Rodriguez. His story, how he got started, and what he's done. It's just amazing. He wrote a book, which I read quite a while ago, but it was his story on how he got into the business and just how he did it and kind of defied the odds a little bit. And look at what he's done.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing. So, all right. Star grade. Did you have anything, Danielle? Did you have a favorite scene, character, kill, or anything?
Not that I can think of, since it's been like 4 years since I've seen this movie.
Okay, then.
I did not prepare.
Oh, fail.
I know.
Fail. Okay, we'll cut that out.
Dude, I have mine.
What?
My favorite stuff. I haven't
People
said
who
mine.
like Daybreakers are the only ones who are allowed to share their favorites.
Wow. I was just going to say, Shay, would you like to share your favorites?
Yes, please.
Okay, please.
Okay. My favorite kill probably would have to be Danny Trejo. His character's name is Razor Charlie, and he's killed by Sex Machine. And he was the one strapped down to the pool table with the whip, and then struck through with a cue.
Yep. That was pretty cool.
Oh, it was pretty darn great.
Yeah.
I do, of course, enjoy your guys's as well, but I wanted to say something different. And then favorite character, Sex Machine, because it's Tom Savini, and he's also a makeup artist. However, he did not work on any of the makeup on this one. He was just a friend that was like, "Hey, I'll be in it." Sure.
No,
That's
Tom
fine.
Savini's great.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love him.
Yeah, no, that was great to see him in this film.
He's a gore god for sure.
Oh my God, really is. Yeah.
Apparently, he did like punch people on accident. He punched while trying to do some of the action sequences, and he knows like how to do stunts as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of funny. I was watching some of the behind the scenes stuff, and he full on made contact a few times, and he was like, "Oops."
Oops, daisy.
Oopsie.
And
that's
then
funny.
And then one of my favorite scenes, I do love the bar breakout, melee, all of it, of course. But there's a part where Harvey Keitel, aka Jacob, is walking down the hallway, and he's made a temporary cross. And all of the vampires, where you actually get a really good look at some of them, are following him down the hallway, but they're not really attacking him because he's got the cross, and he has, I believe he was already bit at that point. So they're kind of leaving him alone, but he's trying to get down to the storeroom to be with the rest of his family. So he was walking down, and you get like really great mood lighting. It's a tight, confined space, which we really haven't gotten much in this movie up until this point when they get to the storeroom part. But yeah, I just loved how it went from like crazy, crazy busy and then slow, quiet. They did that a lot through this movie, where you got the big, loud explosion deaths, and then, your little plink death, and then loud boom, and then quiet, sneaky. It was so fun.
Right.
I love this movie.
No, I give it 5 stars.
Yeah.
That's my grade. This has always been a favorite of mine. And I mean, vampire and werewolf genres, subgenres of horror, those two are my favorites. And this vampire film is right up there at the top for me. So definitely 5 stars.
Well, and it's such like a non-traditional vampire movie.
Yes.
It's just so weird.
Well, I think you take the
Like, I don't even know if they have any actual vampire lore in this. I mean, I guess they have the crosses.
They do. I mean, you've got the holy water.
But
you've
like,
got
they really did their own thing with it.
Well, they did.
Yeah.
They did. But, the big twist, I think, when you start out as something other than horror, which this did, and then all of a sudden you shift gears and it becomes nothing but horror.
Right.
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
You know what I love is they never ask the questions, are vampires real? Is this real right now? They just immediately believed we're being attacked.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Do they ever even say the word vampire?
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
They do.
Because because there's that scene where, Seth asks Jacob, do you believe in vampires? And he says, well, I don't, or something like that. And he says, I don't believe in vampires, but I believe what I'm seeing right now. So they do refer to them as vampires.
You're right.
Yeah.
That's true.
But not very often. It's just like, yeah.
It was more like we never had to do like, oh, no, those aren't vampires. They're just very angry people.
Yeah, some asshole trying to rationalize it, being like,
yeah, we never had to do that with this movie, which I kind of love.
We just drank too much absinthe. We're hallucinating right now.
Yeah,
exactly.
Coming up, we have your scare preview. It is next.
Welcome to Jaunty Haunts, the podcast about all things supernatural. After 30 years of keeping a secret, I'm finally ready to share with the world that I see ghosts. This podcast is all about getting spooky and connecting with others who might also sense, see, or feel things beyond the ordinary. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, let's connect, share, and maybe feel a little less crazy together.
You can listen to and binge Jaunty Haunts right now on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you podcast. Stay spooky, ghoul friends.
Scare preview time. These are films that Michael and I, and maybe even Shay might have one too. Do you have a scare preview?
No.
Okay, then it's just films that Michael and I are excited about. Danielle, do you have a scare preview?
I do not.
Okay. Well, it's just Michael and I, which we're used to that.
Let's do it.
You got a cool film that you are into that might be coming out soon?
Yeah, so it's The Ritual, not the one from Netflix. There's a lot of actually names that it's The Ritual. So this one's new though, and it's from director David Medell, and I'm excited for it because it's starring Al Pacino and Dan Stevens. Dan Stevens, fantastic. And like kind of, it's just about like, two priests trying to deal with a possessed lady. So, I mean, kind of basic there, but it's the people attached to it that have me excited about it.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. And this one comes out, I think it was April or something like that. April 18th, yep.
Very cool. Mine comes out May 2nd, a movie called Rosario. And it's about a Wall Street stockbroker, Rosario Fuentes. She returns to her grandmother's apartment after her sudden death, and she's going through her grandmother's belongings, and she discovers a horrifying secret, a hidden chamber filled with occult artifacts tied to dark generational rituals. As supernatural occurrences plague her, she must confront her family's buried secrets and face the truth about the sacrifices and choices they made. No big names in it, and it is out May 2nd, and it looks really good. The trailer looks very creepy, so
nice.
Yeah, excited about that for your scare preview. All right, so that is it for this episode 20. And for the second week in a row, thank you, Shay, for being here, and Danielle for being here. We had a lot of fun with you hanging out.
Thank you. This was awesome.
Yeah.
Researcher Danielle, never at a loss for words.
I think we need to give it up for...
you need to like shut up. You've been talking nonstop.
I know.
I just can't help it.
She's actually busy doing like research stuff for us behind the scenes here as we're yakking. So she's feeding us information. So thank you for that. So next week's episode, we're going to do a film that I had to see 3 times to be able to watch the entire thing. First time I fell asleep because I'd worked like 18 hours and then decided, let's go sit in a dark movie theater. The second time I went with Danielle, and her family actually went, and they bought tickets, and I went, and I was there about 10 minutes before I realized I had food poisoning and started like just sweating through my clothes going, oh God, I gotta go. And
yeah.
We've all been there.
Danielle just looked over to me before I even said anything. She goes, are you okay? I'm like, no, I gotta go.
Yeah, I was like, something's going on over there.
Something bad. So the third time, I finally got through the entire movie. Long Legs from Osgood Perkins. That is next week.
I love this movie so much.
Yep. I think we'll have a good time dissecting that. Please find us on social media, like and subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts, and email us as well.
Yep, you can email us at openingkillpod@gmail.com.
All right, we will talk to you next week for Long Legs.
The Opening Kill podcast is hosted by Michael Duran and Brian O'Connor. It's produced by Mystic Cloud Productions. Thanks for listening. And don't forget to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you listen to your favorite podcasts. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram too. Join us next Thursday for a brand new episode.